Hey everyone, Sly47 here. Got a great video for you today. Let's go over all of the legendary commanders, see if they're mandatory or not, or they exist. Let's get into it. But first, for the new people in this group that are coming by and seeing this, hello, how are you? Hopefully you're enjoying the game. What is a legendary commander? What makes them special? So a typical commander, you're going to have the same skills on almost every single one, no difference. Legendary commanders, though, they're going to have a little bit of flair. They're going to have all the pins, everything like that, to kind of give themselves a little bit extra to the ship line that they're playing and they're specified to. They are generally better than the regular commanders. They are. It's just how it is. But are they worth it, and do you want it? Let's get into that. So a lot of you would be expecting a tier maker at this point to pop up. No, the more I worked on this video, the more I kind of felt that the tier maker didn't exactly do it justice. And I kind of figured it'd be better to just go one by one on each and every one of them. And, obviously put out timestamps and everything like that for all the positions. So if you want to know about a specific one, you can. But for a lot of these, it just didn't work with the tier maker, and I wanted to have people see the actual skills of every single commander, go through each one, and then rate them on my scale. So yeah, I think that's going to be a better way to go. So let's jump into the first one. Andrew Cunningham, HMS CV and DD Legendary Commander Hybrid. His specific skills add to your arsenal of Sixth Sense, Generalist, Mistweaver Plus, Crippling Blows, which is a very unique skill, Dauntless Dive Plus, and Giant Hunter Plus. As you can tell, this does actually work very well for a CV or a DD in this case, because of course you have Giant Hunter, Dauntless Dive, and Crippling Blows for a CV, where you have Mistweaver, Generalist, and Sixth Sense for a DD, along with Crippling Blows. Which actually, let's talk about this. If you've recently been going up against any Maltas or any of the HMS CVs right now, and your engine keeps on going out, this guy's to blame. This guy is he's annoying. But in the end, in my personal account, I actually have him. He's great for DDs. If you want to go CV, because I don't play CVs, he is an amazing, especially Crippling Blows, Dauntless Dive, and Giant Hunter. Just 3 great skills for a CV main. Definitely worth it. He's a very unique commander, though, so understand if you're not going down those lines, don't get it. Or if you're, he's not required. If you want to say on either of them, it's going to be a little added bonus when it comes to the end of it all. Second up to bat, we have another HMS Legendary Commander, David Beatty. We got Torpedo Alert Plus, Sixth Sense, Survivalist Plus, Mistweaver Plus, which is incredibly important for him, Demolitions Plus, which is another incredible important skill, and then Citadel Strike Plus, which actually you don't want to pick on David Beatty most of the time. So here's the thing that really makes David Beatty so strong is the Mistweaver Plus, the Demolitions Plus, and the Survivalist Plus. Going on these light cruisers in the HMS line, especially the Minotaur line, it's almost damn near mandatory, because the Mistweaver Plus allows you to have such a short duration between smokes. You can stay alive longer. And then on top of it, the Demolition Experts and how much you are pumping out shells strips enemies of most of their modules. I have completely removed all the secondaries from a Gross Recur First easily multiple times in the Minotaur. It is a dangerous ship with David Beatty, and I highly suggest it. And I'd even argue almost mandatory. Yes, Andrew Cunningham could work in the place of it, but you are getting as much because it's only torpedo based, where you actually can use your guns with David Beatty in order to strip modules and destroy them. But David Beatty, to me, almost mandatory. It's very strong commander, and highly suggest it if you are going up the light cruiser line for the HMS area. Third up, we got Ding right here. We've got great skills specifically for the only Pan-Asian line that's in the game right now, so it doesn't really matter. He's just an arguably good, solid pick for me, in my opinion. Emergency Response 1, you your steering gear and power systems increase? Personally, no. Like, it's good, it's there, but whatever. Preheating plus, this is great for getting into risky positions and pushing up as far as you can. Daredevil plus, if you get less than half health, you can kind of use it a little better. You can kind of move a little bit. Exploit weakness, which is great because your deep water torpedoes and your guns will start fires and floods very well. You do have engine overload plus, which of course makes you a little bit faster for a little longer, and then add on top of it Giant Hunter plus. Absolutely makes these deep water torps do a crap ton of damage to battleships and to cruisers. And of course, it doesn't matter with DDs because you can't hit DDs with deep water torpedoes. So personally, ding, great pick. It's very solid for that line. Highly suggest if you have him, put him on, put him on your Pan Asians. It's just, he's arguably better than a regular commander. Franz Von Hipper, Germany. Cruisers and battleships, kind of an in-between hybrid one. Personally, absolutely a solid pick with armament repair expert. Make sure you get your secondaries, your main batteries, or your torpedo tubes back up after taking damage. 6 cents, recon and surveillance. We've got marksman plus, close quarters combat plus, and APCS plus. All great skills for the entire German lines. Basically, either you want to go cruisers or battleships. I view Franz Von Hipper as the more aggressive version because, of course, you definitely have the close quarters combat, armor-piercing capped shells, and marksman plus along with recon surveillance. So you're going to be more of a push type of commander. So if you have a more aggressive style, Franz Von Hipper does an amazing job at that situation. Definitely would suggest him to get picked up. And, of course, he's one of the oldest ones, so he goes on sale for almost once a month, so you're not going to have to wait long. Next up, we've got the USS Heavy Battleship Legendary Commander George Dewey with Torpedo Alert Plus, Air Defense Expert Plus, Precise Aiming Expert, which is unique, but we'll get back to that, Extinguisher Plus, Compartment Maintenance Plus, and Horizontal Protection Expert Plus. All these last 3 skills, massive advantage on absolutely staying alive in so many different ways, including the DFAA buff right there. But Precise Aiming Expert, very unique skill to him, and specifically for the line because they have a 30-second reload, doesn't make sense to give them literally an incredibly long precise aim. Instead, cut it in half, minus by 50%, and then also give them 2 more. Boom, done. It's actually works quite well. And on the Vermont, on that line, if you really like the super heavy battleship line, he's very unique, if not incredibly solid in my opinion. I would definitely suggest it if you like that line. Mikawa, our first IJN legendary commander. IJN DD lines, basically he'll work for both, preferably for the gunboat side of things. So Torpedo Alert Plus, Preheating Plus, Daredevil Plus, Mistweaver Plus, Night Raid, which gives them, especially when you're on your gunboats, +1 of everything, which is great, and Giant Hunter Plus. Now, besides Night Raid and potentially Mistweaver a little bit, the gunboats definitely do see a little bit of help here, but in my opinion, it's if you have him or barely solid, because the gunboats themselves aren't in a great place, and this isn't really going to push them to a usable state or a really good state. It's going to help. It is, so you should use Mikawa if you have it, but it's definitely not something you go out of your way for or pay a bunch of money in a bundle or something like for it. So that's my thoughts. Horatio Nelson. We've got battle signals right here, which absolutely buffs your accuracy, your traverse speed of all your systems when your health is above 60%. It's an incredibly good skill. Victorious Charge, so you can heal more. Survivalist, so you can heal more. Adrenaline Rush, so let's say you get a little too low on health, you reload quicker. Demolition Experts Plus, that's great. IFHE Plus, and then of course you'd probably take Citadel Strike in this position because IFHE on HMS battleships is absolutely hilarious. So Horatio is definitely, I would say, a very solid pickup. Great, kind of a tankier battleship player ship, because of course you do have this giving you better accuracy, more healing, and then of course when they actually start doing enough damage to you because your armor kind of sucks in this line, you start doing more damage to them, which is great. And of course IFHE Plus is always great on the battleships. I would definitely suggest them to use them. It's not mandatory, though. He helps. He helps. He makes it a little easier. Going from HMS battleships to IJM battleships, we have Legendary Commander Yamamoto with Artillery Maintenance Expert, increasing that efficiency of that. 6 cents, Marksman Plus, Demolition Expert, APCS, and Citadel Strike. Now, pretty much just a straight buff. Definitely a solid pickup. I would definitely use them over a regular commander, but it's just a general bump, and overall, you're only really going to see the advantage of Marksman Plus and APCS Plus on certain ships and at certain ranges depending on how you fight. And of course, your luck with Citadels varies and everything like that. So a good pickup, not necessary or not mandatory, but still solid. Now to the legendary commander that reminds me of my hometown, Jerzy Swirski. Battlefield Support Plus, you get an additional radar. AA Plus, these are AA DDs, they're amazing at it. Daredevil Plus, whatever. Engine Overload Plus, this is great. Keeps them going a little faster. They're kind of slow and sluggish. Nowhere to Hide, a very unique skill. Increases your radar skill effectiveness by increasing duration, lowering the cooldown, and of course you've got Giant Hunter, which the torps don't do a lot of damage, so any little bit helps. Now, in my opinion, if you happen to have Swirski, you should go down the EUDD line. Because in my opinion, he takes ships that are pretty decent and then turns them into monsters. The skills of getting an additional radar just lets you pop it whenever you want. Add on top of it, Nowhere to Hide means it comes right back and lasts longer when you use it. Giant Hunter helps out do a little bit more damage because these ships are very much kind of like a MMO-based cooldown mechanism thing by starting fires and floods, and you're just kind of managing that during the game. It just all helps and makes them actually really usable. It's just a full package. I would highly suggest having it, and I'd almost call him mandatory to have in order to enjoy this full line to the fullest. Now let's go from one legendary commander that turns a good line into an amazing line to a captain that turns a really horrible line into something that's usable. That's definitely usable. John Jellicoe, HMS legendary commander with Armament Expert Plus, Exploit Weakness Plus, Survivalist Plus, Fully Prepared Plus, Mistweaver Plus, and IFHE Plus. All real benefits you want to have in the Goliath line for the heavy cruisers. Highly suggest it. If you have gone down this line, John Jellicoe actually makes them kind of exist in the meta. All we know right now is supposedly there's some large rework talk going on at Wargaming about the Goliath line, and picking up John Jellicoe now, working on them, having him ready for this line definitely will help if those ships ever become usable. But yeah, he's solid. Almost mandatory for this line to make it barely usable. But that's if you can deal with this line of ships, because Goliath sucks, and it's basically universally known it sucks. On to nope, I'm not slaughtering that. Ozawa, I can say that one. I'm just not gonna do that. We got a CV legendary commander for the IJN crew over here. We've got Aerobatics Maneuver Plus, Fire Supremacy Plus, Dogfight Specialist Plus, Exploit Weakness Plus, Engine Overload Plus, and Giant Hunter Plus. Now, technically, you could argue kind of works for also gunboats. It's kind of a hybrid situation. Personally, to me, just kind of from all these buffs that he gives, it's if you have them, throw it on. I wouldn't go out of your way for it. It's going to help, but it's not much. Not an insane amount. To our first Russian legendary commander, Nikolai Kuzentsov, which of course is a battleship, or even you could arguably say a heavy cruiser type captain on this situation. We've got Underwater Protection Expert, Artillery Maintenance Expert, 6 cents, Fully Prepared Plus, Honor Seeker Plus, and a special unique ability called Bulletproof, which gives negative 5% damage caused by enemy gun shells. He's okay. The bulletproof needs a little bit of a buff. I'd like to see between 7 and 10% off. It's just the armor of most of the Russian battleships don't really hold up enough, and then the guns are just lackluster already. So trying to make yourself tankier isn't going to really save this line or make them arguably any better than if you would have had deck protection right here, in my opinion. So yeah, he's there. If you have him, use him. If not, don't worry about it. You're not missing too much. To our first and currently only legendary Italian commander, Luigi Sansonetti, we have Torpedo Alert Plus, Artillery Maintenance Expert Plus, Sixth Sense, Marksman Plus, Honor Seeker Plus, and High Density Gun Propellant Charge. Basically, the only reason I say that this pick is great and is a perfect pick for the Italian cruiser line right now, and potentially kind of a good pick for the Italian battleships when they come out, maybe. Who knows? Maybe they'll get their own commander. But is this ability. Everything else that he has, Sixth Sense is definitely handy, but everything else it helps. It does. If you don't have any commander above 10 and you're still working on, he's not going to help that much. He isn't. But this skill right here makes him solid. And yes, so much yes. Venezia with the skill, just smacks DDs across the face. Love it. So, if you have him, but if you're not going to get all the way to tier 11 skills, he's not going to help as much as people say he would if you happen to get to level 11 skill. So, yeah. So this sucker has eluded me for all of my career as a Henry living main and a Republic enjoyer as well, but Philippe Auboyneau, hopefully I said that right, sorry if I slaughtered it, specifically goes over Armament Repair Expert Plus, Sixth Sense, Daredevil, and finally APCS. Now, APCS Plus is great. That's great. But I missed two skills on purpose because these are the two skills that literally turn the Henry IV or Republic into a god monster. It is Engine Overload Plus, so now DDs can run, no you can't, and then of course Master Reloader Plus, which of course now you're about to get just smacked with shells, especially from the Republic, 8 shells, I think it's every 9 seconds or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous on how powerful Philippe is, and almost mandatory to take the Henry and or the Republic into just insane levels. And I'd highly suggest if you can pick them up, pick this guy up if you like the French lines at all. Absolutely changes the entire dynamic once you get these two skills specifically, especially Master Reloader Plus. Just an absolute dominator on the field. Super strong legendary commander. Highly suggested. On to another German legendary commander, Reinhard Scheer. Now, Franz Von Hipper, all offensive. Just full on, let's go offense. This legendary commander is for those people who want to play back a little bit and be a little bit tankier, because you have Underwater Protection Expert Plus, High Alert Plus, Survivalist Plus, Generalist Plus, Extinguisher Plus, and Horizontal Protection Expert Plus, mixed in with adding some mods onto your ship to make it even tankier. This turns a Grosser Kurfürst specifically into it just soaks shells up and bounces are everywhere. You can tell when a commander has this. Unfortunately, you tend to want to be more offensive, so Franz Von Hipper is just a clearly better pick in my opinion, but if you do want to play it a little bit safer, Reinhard is here. Use them if you want to. Definitely good picks. Nothing special particularly about them, but still, if you have them, you have them, and they will make your ship a little tankier. So here we have actually one of our newest additions to the legendary commanders, Robert Jaujard. I'm sorry if I slaughtered that French speakers. My apologies. I'm just going to say that right now. One of our newest ones for the French DD line that's actually incoming soon. We've got Emergency Response 1 for faster repair, Preheating Plus, Daredevil Plus, Adrenaline Rush Plus, Swift as the Wind was a custom skill, which the engine acceleration skill duration just is doubled, and there's no skill duration cooldown lowering. So yeah, it's different. It's different. And then Giant Hunter Plus. Now, for French DDs, in my opinion, Robert is, if you got him, you might as well use him, but I'd almost take a regular captain over him, because I like having like kind of more of this, okay, I'm just going to boost out of this situation, and then I'm going to have my boost up really quickly again. I'm not going to be, I'm going to be boosting for 50 seconds and such. The French line takes a lot of damage. You need to be staying at max range. And yes, going faster for longer is great, but sometimes going faster for a shorter period of time more often helps more, at least in my opinion. Giant Hunter Plus, this doesn't really help much, unfortunately. I'd rather see APCS or IFHE for them, because your torpedoes aren't that great in the first place. There's such a wide spread that you're more of a light cruiser that typically will use your guns with semi-usable torps. Obviously better than RUDD gunboats, but over here, Adrenaline Plus, this needs to be changed to Master Reloader. I know that makes it very similar, or maybe make it where it's Swift as the Wind is the exact same thing as Master Reloader, where you don't have a lower cooldown, you just have a longer time period as well. Kind of something different, a little change up on that. But Adrenaline Rush Plus, when you're lower than 33% on these ships, you're probably dead within the next salvo. This is not helping much, in my opinion. And these other skills, there's other commanders that, yeah, sometimes you're just not even going to be taking them, because also preheating, you're already one of the fastest ships in the game, and you don't want to take caps. So why? If you have them, you can use them. I wouldn't suggest it. So there's a story behind Sergey. A little bit of story. You know, some people who have been here on my channel a while, they know. They know. I got roasted in the comments really bad, you know, just like I got burnt on the way down to Las Vegas in the middle of February, driving. Yeah. So Sergey's story is that a while back in a video, I said, hey, Wargaming, maybe you should release a legendary commander that gives us +1 radar, not realizing that Sergey existed. Oh yeah, the comments were just exactly how you feel about them. Yep, let's go over Sergey here. Battlefield Support Plus, Air Defense Expert Plus, Exploit Weakness Plus, Marksman Plus, Adrenaline Rush Plus, and IFHE Plus. So Sergey's actually kind of everywhere, because the light cruiser line that he's supposed to be on, the radar cruisers, great. Additional radar, perfect. You know, stronger and longer DFFA, that's great. Unfortunately, the AA really needs a buff because it kind of sucks. So you take Victorious Charge over there. So one skill just doesn't even help. Exploit Weakness Plus, that's not bad. Expert Marking Plus, it helps, kind of, because the ships are already incredibly accurate. So yeah, Adrenaline Rush Plus. If you're at less than 33% in any of these light cruiser lines, you're literally one shot away from death, and it's not really going to help much. So if you have a Smolensk, you take Mistweaver, right? You know, come on, make it a little crazier. Including, same thing with IFHE Plus, make the Smolensk a little crazier. But if you're actually going for the Tier 10, for the Nevsky, or even the Donskoy and such, IFHE Plus literally doesn't help it that much, and APCS Plus would be a much better pick. So in my opinion, Sergey, if you have him, this skill alone is great, and this skill alone is great. Everything else, it's literally, there's other skills that are better to take for this line than in comparison to what he offers. So if you have him, you got him, but he needs changes. Going from the Russian radar cruiser legendary commander to the USS cruiser legendary commander. God, that is a mouthful. Thomas Kinkaid, Battlefield Support Plus, gives an additional radar, High Alert Plus, Air Defense Expert Plus, Generalist Plus, Extinguisher Plus, and IFHE Plus. Now, a lot of people say use this on the Worcester, but in my opinion, the Worcester is actually already pretty good on all of these skills. Even IFHE actually can be used, so there is an argument to use IFHE in this situation due to the low penetration of USS HE shells. So you could use it on Worcester. I would prefer, and I prefer using it on the Des Moines, and the reason is because sometimes you can literally see the fear in a DD and the panic in a DD when you pop a second radar. It is so worth it. You literally just, sometimes you just see them sit there just like, I did not expect this situation. So definitely, and just because of the tankiness, it helps you stay alive longer in the Des Moines, especially when you're trying to push on caps. So with everything going on, and I would even argue still using IFHE for the Des Moines, but you could use APCS if you want to buff that too, because the HE is pretty decent at that point. But Thomas Kinkaid, solid pickup, and I'd highly suggest it, especially if you're going up the Des Moines line. But if you want to make the Worcester any worse than what it already is, of how powerful a ship it is, he'll help. He'll help. Definitely help. On to the last IJN legendary commander, Togo Heihachiro. Sorry if I slaughtered that. Hopefully I did a decent job. 6 cents, Survivalist plus, Marksman plus, Honor Seeker plus, IFHE plus, and Giant Hunter plus. Now, ignore the Yamamoto setup there, but either way, in my opinion, if you want to play IJN cruisers, he helps. He does. If you have him, throw him on. Generally, more healing is better. 6 cents definitely helps. IFHE, why not? Giant Hunter, even better. But you don't really need Marksman, and Honor Seeker Plus is there. But even then, maybe you want APCS. He's kind of all over the place, in my opinion. I wish that the entire IJN cruiser line was just better in general and actually had a really good dedicated commander that would help them a lot more, but unfortunately I think it's just the ships in general. So if you have Togo, great, but I really wouldn't go out of your way for them. Now finally, we end up with William Halsey, or Bill Halsey, the Bull Halsey. Yeah, I'm just going to say this one's unique. Kind of all over the place. I'm just going to say that immediately because he is. It's a very unique commander, and there's certain ships that benefit, and you need to know them. So, of course, Preheating Plus. Okay, that's kind of a DD skill. Victorious Charge Plus. Okay, that helps just about everyone. Fire Supremacy Plus with Torpedo Reload Plus. Okay, that seems like right here we got 3 DD skills. We go down here, Adrenaline Rush Plus. Okay, so likes to be at low health. US DDs can kind of get away with being at low health. Okay, Honor Seeker Plus. Alright, sure, care. Angry Bull. When your ship has less than 33% of its maximum health, your main battery, your secondary battery, and your automatic secondary batteries all get plus 10% damage. That's not really a DD thing, but that is super powerful. So actually, a lot of people, when you actually kind of go back at this, choose certain items, and specifically even Fire Supremacy, to basically use this on the Somers, on the Mahogany, or whatever the crap the tier 5 or 6 one is that has the torpedo reload, but also on the Des Moines, which makes Angry Bull just absolutely insane when you're low health with Adrenaline Rush Plus. And even I've heard the Puerto Rico mentioned and everything. Halsey is a very unique commander, and I really wouldn't suggest them unless you know what you're getting yourself into and wanting that type of commander that's kind of everywhere but does a particular thing incredibly well. Not always usable, but they're there. It's a very unique commander. So yeah, William Halsey, I like Angry Bull. I've tried it out in the Des Moines. It's nasty, but unfortunately also you need like maybe 1 or 2 of these abilities to go over for more healing. Just gonna keep yourself going. But yeah, no, Halsey, very unique commander. Wouldn't always suggest. So that is my thoughts on all of the currently 20-ish legendary commanders in game. There will be more coming in. I kind of hope they do more unique ones. Kind of even more like, hey, this one is the aggressive version versus the defensive version, kind of similar to Reinhard and Franz, or even kind of with Robert down here, where they've got a skill that changes up, but no skill cooldown, stuff like that. Obviously, better execution, but to me, I like those unique skills that make the commanders fun and not just they're just a generic better upgrade for a certain ship, or a ship line, I should say. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below if I was right, wrong, if you think I rated something differently. Also, let me know your thoughts on a few of them that maybe I didn't maybe articulate well enough. Either way, thank you all for the love and support. Don't forget, like, follow, and subscribe on any platform. Also, Linktree is down below to join Discord, join the Patreon, help support the channel that way. Thank you to the Patreon members for all the loving support there. Of course, Discord, you'll be able to join up on streams. We'll have a lot of fun there. It's always a blast. And thank you all for watching this far into the video. It really is supportive. Yeah, thank you so much for making this just a blast to make these videos for, and hope you enjoy the content. Have a good one. Peace.